I need to tell you something. Motivation is unreliable. I know that's not what you wanted to hear because we've been sold to believe that successful people are just more motivated than everybody else. Like they wake up every day fired up and ready to conquer the world, pumped up to work on their goals. And although that can be true sometimes, that's not true all the time. Successful people have days when they're tired, when they're discouraged, when they're frustrated. And honey, they probably have had more days where they wanted to quit than you would believe. The difference? We show up anyway. This is our Vision to Victory series, and today we're talking about how to stay steady when motivation fades, because motivation will fade, y'all. By the end of this episode, you're going to know how to build the kind of systems that keep you moving forward, even when you don't feel like it. You're going to learn how to show up consistently, not perfectly, because consistency beats intensity every single time. Let's dive in. Let me tell you about week 4. I think that was about week 4 of my first book, More Than Enough, A Guide to Achieving Your Goals. Weeks 1 through 3, it was my first book. I was on fire. I woke up every morning excited. I couldn't wait to write. The words were just flowing because I felt like I had so much to say. I mean, I felt unstoppable. But then week 4 came, and I really just didn't want to do it anymore. I was tired of waking up early and writing and then having to work on all the other things, work my day job, work my tutoring business, all the things. The excitement was kind of dying out. It was gone. I was trying to write, but then it just felt like words were being forced, or I was trying to come up with something good. And then I started asking myself, is any of this good? Where am I going with this? I'm getting all off track. What's happening here? And is it even worth it? Will anybody care? No one will know if I just stop writing the book. It will just be the book that never happened. At one point, I thought, maybe I should just quit. It's wearing me out. I didn't feel motivated at all, but I had committed to myself. And it's hard for me to give up on my goals. I'm an Aries, strong-willed, hard-headed, as my mom would say. I had blocked off the morning hours, my golden hours, 5 to 8 a.m., every weekday for writing time. So around Wednesday or Thursday of that week, I think it was. I know it wasn't Friday yet because I love Fridays. You can relax. It was like Wednesday or Thursday. The Lord shook me and woke me up the way he always does when he has something to say. But I just wanted to go back to sleep. I had a choice, or so I thought. I could wait until I felt motivated again, but then I was worried that I'd never get back to it. Or I could get up and I could just write anyway. So what did I do? I got up, I wrote, I showed up, and God showed up. You know what happened? God met me in my consistency. I think by the Friday of that week, or maybe even the Saturday, that motivation came back. I didn't wait for it to come back. I kept moving without the motivation. And that's when I wrote what I think is the best chapter of the whole book. It's called Blood, Sweat, and Tears. In it, I talk about how challenging the middle of goal achievement really is. Everybody gets you fired up to get started, and you're fired up to get started on achieving your goals. But the middle of goal achievement is just hard. You see how far you've come, but you still see how far you got to go. But that week is when I learned that lesson that changed everything. That motivation follows action. It doesn't always come before action. You don't wait until you feel like doing it. You do it, and then the feeling comes, especially in the middle of goal achievement. Too many people quit during week 3. Week 3 is when the newness of that goal achievement wears off and when the excitement fades. When the work gets hard. I was recently reading that most people give up on their New Year's resolutions by the second Friday in January. So many people give up this day, they call it Quitter's Day. It's the day when the motivation fades and people abandon the goals they had just set on January 1st. They say that this is the day where there are high failure rates with up to 80% of people quitting by then, highlighting that about 2 weeks is the average lifespan for New Year's resolutions because people just lose steam by then. Week 1 is easy. Everybody's motivated in week 1, right? Because everybody has a goal and we're all doing it. The gyms are packed, right? But by week 3 or week 8 or week 12, that's when you find out who's serious. Maybe you're in week 3 right now. You started strong, you were excited, you were committed, but now the motivation is gone. You're tired, you're too busy, you're not seeing the results as fast as you had hoped. You get on the scale, you haven't lost but about 2 pounds, and you thought you would have lost 10 by then. You're thinking about quitting. This is exactly where winners are made. The difference between people who finish and people who quit is not motivation. It's systems, y'all. The mindset shift for today is this: consistency over intensity, systems over motivation. You don't need to be fired up every day. You just need to show up every day. Motivation is an emotion, and our emotions can change. You can't build an amazing life on feelings, but systems are dependable. A system is a decision that you make once, then you execute it repeatedly. Instead of saying, I work on my business when I feel motivated, you should say, I work on my business on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 5 and 7 a.m. No exceptions. Instead of saying, I'll eat healthy when I get enough willpower to stop eating all that sugar, something I might say. What you're going to say instead is, I'm going to meal prep on Sunday and I'm going to eat what I meal prepped on Sunday for the rest of the week. That's a system. Instead of, I'll exercise when I feel like it, what you're going to say is, I will walk 30 minutes every morning before work. It doesn't matter, rain or shine, I'm going out there and I'm going to walk. You see the difference? So motivation says, I'll do it when I feel like it, but systems say, I'm going to do it because this is what I do. The most powerful system I know is if-then statements. You plan your response to the obstacles before they happen. So when they happen, you're prepared already. So let me give you an example. If I wake up tired, then I still show up for 15 minutes, not 0 minutes. I still show up to the gym for 15 minutes. If I miss a day, then I'll restart the next day. Not Monday. No. That's too far away. You're going to start the next day. If I mess up and eat some sweets tonight, I'll just restart tomorrow. I don't know about you, but whenever I'm trying to diet or eat healthy, I'm doing good in the morning, y'all. But by the time the end of the day comes, I'm tired. I can't even do it. Now I'm just eating all kinds of stuff. Oreo cookies, anything, everything. What you're doing is removing the decision making in the moment because you've already decided what you're going to do instead if something goes wrong. Now, let me give you an example from my own life. I decided if I don't feel like writing in the morning, then I would just commit maybe 10 minutes to start writing. And 9 times out of 10, once I started writing, I just kept going. Because starting is the hard part. I don't know about you. If that happens, starting is a hard part. Continuing is easy. When I used to have to go out for work instead of working from home, getting ready to go to work was always the hardest part. It was not when I got to work, because once I got there, I was good. It was the getting ready to go, right? Then the same thing happened when I committed to going to the gym for 100 days. I was like, I'm going to go 100 days in a row because I know if I skip a day, it's just going to throw me all off, right? So it was hard during those 100 days to get up early and go. But before I even got started, because I didn't want to quit on myself, I would tell myself, Okay, I'm just going to go for like 30 minutes. I'll get on a treadmill. At least I did that. But when I got to the gym, I usually stayed the whole hour. It was just getting up to go, putting the clothes on, kind of cold in the morning, that whole thing. I usually stayed the whole time. Galatians 6 and 9 says, let us not become weary in doing well, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not what? Faint. Do not give up. If we do not give up, you will get tired. You will lose motivation. You will face obstacles along the way. But if you have systems in place, you can keep going anyway. And at the proper time, not in your timeline, but at the right time, you will see the harvest. All right. So let's build your consistency system. Go ahead, grab a pen and paper. You already know if you've been listening to this podcast, I'm going to have you have a little homework, always a little work, because I know that writing it down makes it happen. Our first exercise is called Identify Where You're Losing Momentum. First, you need to know where you're inconsistent. So I want you to think about your goal and ask yourself, where am I struggling to stay consistent? Is it showing up when you're tired, continuing when you don't see results, maintaining your habits during a busy season, or staying on that diet during the holidays? Is it getting back on track after you miss a day? Sounds like me with that gym. Miss a day. Man, knocked me off of my 100-day streak. Or is it following through when things get hard? Write down your biggest challenge with consistency. All right, let's do exercise 2. Let's create automatic responses for your challenges. For your biggest consistency challenge, I want you to complete these if-then statements. If whatever that is happens, then this is what I'll do. So let me give you an example. If I wake up tired, then I'll do 50% of my normal effort, not zero. I'll just give half. If I'm working out at home and I normally work out for 45 minutes or I walk 3 miles, maybe I'm going to walk at least a mile. So if I'm tired, I'll walk at least a mile, not zero. If 3 is my goal, I'm going to give a little bit of effort. And 50% would be a mile and a half, though, right? So maybe a mile and a half. If I get interrupted while I'm in my deep work, then I'll return to my work as soon as possible. Not tomorrow, as soon as possible. If I miss my morning session of workout, then I'll do a 15-minute walk at lunch. I'm not going to skip the whole day. I may miss the morning walk, but I still will walk about 15 minutes at lunch. If I feel like quitting, then I will text my accountability partner first, and I will not make that decision alone. So if I feel like quitting on this goal, I'm going to reach out to my accountability partner. What? You don't have an accountability partner? Reach out to me. I'll be your accountability partner. Or better yet, join my Fulcrum Mindset Community and you will find an accountability partner. Because listen, you need somebody who knows about your goals, because it's easy to quit on your goals if no one knows what you're going after. Now, I'm certainly not the person that will announce my goals until I complete them, because everybody don't believe in you the way you believe in you, and they can talk you out of your goals, but you need someone who will believe in you. So if you're looking for a community of people who will believe in you, who will walk alongside you, who will cheer you on and celebrate your wins, come hang out with us in the Fulcrum Mindset Community. Now, I want you to write 3 if-then statements for your goal. If this happens, then this is what I'll do. You need these systems. In my research of finding out why people quit within the first 2 weeks, people just didn't have systems. So with systems, we have a greater chance of reaching our goals. All right, let's do exercise 3. I got a couple of them for y'all today. We got a little bit of time. I won't run on too long. Exercise 3 is called Lower the Bar, but don't skip. And I've kind of hinted to this one already. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is thinking that it has to be all or nothing. If I can't do a full workout, I won't do anything. If I can't write for 2 hours, I won't write at all. If I can't do it perfectly, I won't even try. Might be convicting myself a little bit. But I'm getting over it. I'm a born again perfectionist, is what I like to call it. I'm getting over it, learning how to just go because imperfect action is still action. And that's how you quit. Instead of all or nothing, lower the bar when life gets hard, but do not quit. Ask yourself, what's the minimum I can do to stay in the game? If it's rough, if it's hard, if you're tired, just ask yourself, what's the minimum I can do to stay in the game? Sometimes you just need a nap. Yeah, you do. But instead of doing an hour's worth of work, maybe put in about 15 minutes, use that other 45 for a nap. All right. I want you to write it down. This is my ideal effort, work out for an hour, but this is my minimum effort. Go to the gym for 25 minutes. Other examples, my ideal effort is to write for 2 hours, but I'll write for a minimum of 10 minutes. So my minimum is 10 minutes. My ideal effort is to work out for 60 minutes, but I'll just walk for 10 minutes or 15 minutes on my lunch break. My ideal effort is to complete at least 5 things on my to-do list. But if I complete this one really big thing on my to-do list, I'll be all right. That's my minimum effort. The minimum keeps you consistent, and consistency builds momentum, and momentum brings your motivation back. Last exercise, and then I'll let you go for today. The restart protocol. You need a plan for when you fall off track because you will. Surprise, surprise. Life happens. You miss days. You break that 100-day streak to the gym. What matters is how you quickly restart the whole process. You doing good. You weren't eating any sugar. I'm talking to myself now, y'all. And then there was a cupcake. You fall off. Now, that doesn't mean I'm quitting the whole diet. That just means tomorrow I got to start again. Try again tomorrow. Now, I want you to complete this statement for this exercise. When I fall off, I will 1, do this. 2, do this. 3, do this. All right, let me give you an example. 1, acknowledge what happened without judging yourself because sometimes we beat ourselves up. 2, remind myself of my why. Why did I start this in the first place? Why did I start the diet? I wanted to get healthier. Why did I write the book? I wanted to help people. Why did I start the podcast? I wanted to help people. Restart the next day, not Monday, not after the holidays, not on the 1st, the next day. And then do the minimum effort to rebuild momentum. That could be one of your options. I'm going to do just a little bit so that I still have the momentum going. And tell my accountability partner, talk to my accountability partner and say, hey, I fell off, but at least I did a little bit of this or a little bit of that. Okay? So I want you to write your restart protocol, commit to it, please. Now, that's the system. You've identified your consistency challenge. You built some if-then responses, and you've lowered the bar so you can stay in the game. And you have a restart protocol if you stumble. You just need systems in order to reach your goals, not more motivation, because remember, motivation fades. All right. And you built a system that is going to help make consistency automatic if consistency is what you struggle with. We are no longer going to be moving based on how we feel. You're going to move based on what you've already decided before you got to the place where motivation was faded. That's the power. All right, so I've got some action steps for you because I always do after this podcast. This is not a podcast you just listen to, get motivated, and move on. We got action. We got to take action. If we're going to meet these goals that we set, we got to do some stuff to do that. So first, I want you to download the Consistency Blueprint. So this is a worksheet that walks you through building those if-then systems and creating your restart protocol. Remember, you can get it in the show notes. Second, I want you to implement one of those if-then systems this week. Test it. See how it works. Adjust it if you need to. Like if your then is not working out, then we got to go back and look at if and then all over again. And then third, when you miss a day, because you will miss a day, I want you to use that restart protocol immediately. Don't wait and don't beat yourself up. Just restart. Stop beating yourself up. Give yourself a little grace. If you want the full system for building unstoppable consistency and resilience, I want you to join us in the Vision to Victory course inside the Fulcrum Mindset Community on School. We're showing up for each other there and we're celebrating consistency over perfection. We're going to finish this thing together. We're going to achieve these goals together. Next week, we're talking about how to endure when you're in the final stretch and how to celebrate your progress along the way, not just the results, because sometimes it takes time to get to the results when it comes to big goals. I want you to celebrate your success along the way. And so we're going to talk about that. You're almost there. You have listened to all of these episodes. I don't want you to quit now. We're going to get to the goals that you set this year. So listen, I know you're going to have days when you don't feel like it. I have days when I don't feel like it. You're going to have days when you're tired and discouraged, and days when you wonder if any of this is worth it, especially when you run into obstacles. But those days don't disqualify you, they define you. Because anyone can show up when they're motivated, but the real champions, they show up motivated or not. So I want you to build your systems, lower the bar when you need to, but do not quit because consistency beats intensity every single time. From vision to victory, that's going to be your story. I'll see you next week.